guys. Welcome to another episode of the Summer and Cynthia Show. Welcome back, everybody. We're here. Cynthia.
We are here. It's spring. Oh,
Spring is continuing to spring and sprung and do the things.
we had some crazy rain the last couple of days, and all of a sudden, overnight, everything is green. It's beautiful.
Like it never happened, huh?
But that thing called winter, yeah. That thing called a pandemic, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all just the last episode of the Bob Newhart show.
It was a
Anyway,
long nightmare.
yes, yes.
So how are you otherwise?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you. Still have not done another podcast episode because I just don't have I'm not concentrating. I can't concentrate these days. So I've got a lot of topics. I've got a lot of, 2 emails, and I'm off to the races, and I just can't do it. How is the unconventional woman coming?
I am so glad you brought that up real quick. Same. I've got a lot to say, you guys, but there's so much going on, and just, trying to have the headspace, the mental space to give you what you need, which is our voices through our lovely podcast. It can be hard, but coming soon. I owe that to you guys. So thank you for being patient with both of us as we, go through the creative process. However, when we do have that moment of creative juices flowing, we're giving it to you here.
Yes.
And that's why we are happy to have you here.
And this is a little easier because we hold each other accountable.
Right.
Podcasting is a very isolated, introverted thing, which made it wonderful and easy to do during the middle of the pandemic. But now I'm just itching to get outside.
Yeah, and I was gonna say the way our shows are structured, our podcast shows, it's a solo sport for the most part.
Mhm.
But obviously, with this wonderful webcast, we have each other, so it's easier.
Yeah.
So we're here. We are happy about this episode and Cynthia, the mastermind who created this topic, this fun topic.
Yeah, it's a derivative of the podcast episodes that you and I did last year, back when, when hot dang, I was interviewing Margaret Cho, and now she's gonna co-panel with Hillary Rodham Clinton to talk about Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders and the discrimination and the racism and the stereotypes, all that. So anyway, podcasting is, you just never know who you're going to meet, and you never know what conversation you're going to have repeatedly about the best hair on TV, because at some point you just have to recognize that that's an important shared common experience that we all have, but for the fact that we all look for something a little bit different. So Summer and I are going to review and even provide some pictures, because Catherine can just stick it into the video. It's good to have a pro on the backside.
Yes. Shout out to Catherine.
Who our favorite TV heads of hair belong to. I do think that your eye for hair as a woman, your eye for hair goes to the time in your life when you were when you were evolving, and your eye was to fashion and power and everything. And the hair of the 80s was an awful lot about power, because there wasn't too much else to differentiate ourselves. And it was before we had to worry about the next person looking good because of Botox or coloring their hair or doing all this. It was all it was your work of art, and you had all the time in the world because traffic wasn't so bad and we had fewer demands. So anyway, my top 3 women TV ladies. Candice Bergen, Murphy Brown, repeatedly, and I think for the most part was using an awful lot of her own hair color, because she had been so documented even from when she was young, because she was the daughter of famous TV and sort of vaudeville guy Edgar Bergen. And so her hair, voluminous, held a curve like nobody's business. But then toward the end of Murphy Brown, they shorten it up a little bit, because clearly she's losing her color and they don't really want to have to hold it. Plus they wanted to show that she was evolving after she had her child and all of that. So I always shout out to Candice Bergen, and in her Instagram, every once in a while, she'll put up an old photo, and it's just like, man, that was good hair. That was good hair. And similarly good hair belongs to Perry Gilpin, who played Roz Doyle on Frasier. There is not an episode. If Perry is in that episode, her hair is looking awesome. I will include in the show notes the shout outs to the people who were the hairstylists of all of these TV series, because I thought that they were just very impeccably done. It is a touchstone. Sometimes it's a set, sometimes it's the detail that goes into wardrobe. When you think of Dynasty, you think of wardrobe. You don't think of their hair necessarily. But Perry Gilpin, I think the hair just sort of set that whole sarcastic, real-timed co-worker who just always sort of got the better of Frasier. She always had the quick clip. She's still around. She's got a Instagram account as well, and every once in a while puts up great pictures from the past. The third one I'm going to say, without too much detail, other than it was always just fascinating, is Jasmine Guy from A Different World. And it was always very classic. It was not always predictable. It definitely framed her face and also had her as an outlier in that series, A Different World, kind of being in a college young adult setting. She was paired with other African-American students at a historic Black college and university that they were working on creating their natural look. And she was sort of pigeonholed toward a look of upper middle class, probably trying to blend in with that which was expected from a white population. So,
and also that Southern Belle, touch is what, oh my God, I didn't know you were gonna say Jasmine.
yeah, which we don't think of Southern belles as women of color.
Right.
And if you were to do that, then you have to pull in all of the women of Designing Women, and we're not going to do that. So
right,
anyway.
no. But yay, Jasmine Guy. If you want to say TV characters, she definitely, as Whitley, yeah.
Yes, as Whitley. So those are my three.
Okay, awesome. In no particular order. Although chronologically there is some order to it in terms of the impression it left on me as I grew up. Claire Huxtable, Felicia Rashad. I just have to give it to her. She instantly came to mind when we were talking about this. And the hair, her character overall reminded me a lot of my mother, and just traits, right? Not so much physical, but the hair actually was similar. And I am not sure, and I'll have to ask my mother, did you draw inspirations like we tend to from magazines or something you see on a show? Because she kind of wore her hair feathered and full like that. But yes, it is, when I think of Claire Huxtable, I just also think of mom growing up.
Oh,
it takes me back to that space. And next up is Lark Vergy, and I hope I'm saying her last name right, but more importantly known as Lisa Turtle from Saved by the Bell. Now, she was a teenager, and that was my show. That was close in my age and very aspirational to me, but her particularly, that was an interesting time for self-development, very insecure. And Lisa Turtle's character was kind of the standard of beauty, not kind of, it was the standard of beauty. Boys liked her, everybody thought and she is, I haven't seen her lately, but she was definitely a beautiful person. And I remember wanting to look like that because I thought that's what beauty was. When I was not ashamed, but I was not very secure with my own looks. So that was Lisa Turtle. Loved her. And last, but certainly not least, I have to give it up for Annalise Keating, aka Viola Davis. It was finally through her character I saw me as is. And the wigs were to die for. She was always, for the most part, and that was part of the complexity of a character, was she had it together on the outside, the surface. She looked impeccable, but her hair, and especially that scene when she sheds, everything. Yeah. But yes, Annalise's character, it was important for me to see myself beautiful as is, and not necessarily trying to substitute anything. So
Mhm.
yeah, those are my three lovely women and girl at some point, um, who inspired me, and I definitely had hair that is long lasting and was impressionable to me.
If it's going to be TV, every once in a while, you get that little extra Easter egg of sorts, and that is a person who has great hair, has the texture and everything else, or has the the entire production is in fact revolving around the look, which can change by
Yeah,
virtue of wigs. When you think about it, and we're not going to get into this, there are not too many TV shows where the whole idea was that the woman could change her identity, not as like a detective or something by wearing wigs, but rather made that part of her brand.
right.
And I think America's still getting used to that, but is coming to realize, embrace it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that
anyway,
was super fun. I do have one random thing before we wrap this particular
sure.
episode. I just want to say this week we had well, I don't want to say untimely, but we had a passing of a cultural superstar
Hmm.
that also was extremely impactful in my youth, and that is a rapper, Earl Simmons, aka DMX, who passed. And just the giant, when you talk about music and
Hmm.
you relive those moments, and it seriously, when he passed on Friday, it was announced. All I could think about was just that decade of just all the things that had happened and what you go through. And it's just the power of music to give you in the way you associate memories and points
Hmm.
of your life. And,
Hmm.
and definitely Rough Riders and DMX is an extremely big part of that. And so my condolences to his family, of course, the fans. Hopefully you are resting in final peace, and just wanted to say that. So we
That's
can move
okay.
on to
All
Soul
right.
Candy.
Transitioning on to soul candy.
All right.
What's your soul candy?
My
Summer?
soul candy, and I mentioned this in the last episode, but still true, and that was brunch with my girlfriend still. Um, it is required medicine from here on out for
Hmm.
me. And so even if it doesn't have to be anything elaborate, folks, but I really enjoy the bottomless mimosas, the eggs benedict, okay, out on a patio on a beautiful day, watching people and just seeing people. It brunch was fantastic. So I encourage you, if you can, get out with your loved ones safely. Oh, and side note, I got my second shot Thursday, and I'm happy to report no side effects for me and my husband. But anyway,
Perfect. All right.
so candy for you.
My soul candy is that it's back to being golf season, and until such time as some of my women friend golfers come back to Chicago from where they live year round, otherwise, or most of the year otherwise, I'm doing some solo golfing. So it's 9 or it's 18, and I get out super early in the morning. And of course, like anything, whether it's running or riding your bike, it's that moment when you're in the house and you've got to start putting the clothes on and putting all the gear together, and you're trying to talk yourself out of it. But it's great. So we've had some great weather. My game is coming back. Good to just sort of
Yes.
get out there, and then boom, I'm back by 10:30 or 11 o'clock, and you end up playing at a crazy fast pace because there's nobody else out there.
Are you like many golfers right now, glued to the TV?
I don't watch a whole lot of golf. No.
Okay, good for
No.
you. I like that.
If I'm feeling crummy and I'm lying on the couch on a Sunday afternoon, sure, I'll see if it's on. But no, not a. Just get out there and do and
Yeah.
keep practicing. Goodness knows my game needs it. So
Nice. And I only say that, folks, because it also happens to be the last day of the Masters. So just the
yes,
timing is why I asked that
yeah,
for those who are not
yeah.
familiar.
Right. All right,
Well,
that is it.
look at that.
Do
It's
you
quick and
think? Do
easy.
you viewers at home have your list of the hair that stops you cold, that makes you pause? And you know what? If it's Marge Simpson, then tell us why, please.
Ooh, yes.
Send us a note, leave it in the show notes, interact with us however you otherwise have come to know me and Summer, because we want to hear from you.
We do. We value your opinions and your thoughts and suggestions. So please reach out, subscribe. Don't forget, sharing is caring. Pass this along.
And
Hello.
herring, as it were. All right. That's it from here. We got another episode in store. We're not going anywhere. So peace out.